Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to check out a special selection today, which is where one of you tell me exactly what it is I need to check out. Today's comes at us from Victor. Hello, Bryan. Please analyze the song The Sound of Musik by Falco from the album Emotional 1986. Let's dive into this. It is interesting because we just checked out Falco's Rock Me Amadeus last month, I think it was, and I knew the song, but there's actually a lot of stuff in there that I didn't remember or possibly hadn't heard prior. The chorus is what really stuck with me. And here we are checking Falco out again. There is a music video to this, but it was 30 or 40 seconds shorter, and I figured I'd just err on the safe side and get the full 5-minute version. I don't know what was missing from that. So let's dive into this, see what's going on. Rising power. That's a little bit of a twist.
Sind so kalt, denn die Zeit, die ging ins Land, meine Seele ist so rein. Die Rose kennt den Duft, meine Stimme braucht die Luft, denn der Wind ist so heiß wie nie. Sei es Rock, Punk, Heavy Metal, Politics or Classical, it's all Musik to me.
So we got some bluesy stuff, jazzy stuff over here. Like an electronic drum kit here. Classical over there. Or at least a string section. The vocals just matching that same 8th note beat as the hi-hat for some reason just works really well. Bass guitar now. The call and response between the vocals. Okay. Okay. We got some Afro-Cuban vibes in here. I'm trying to place where that vocal harmony comes from. This is wild.
It's all just red and he's sitting on the top of the bed. Give it to me what they want.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Making a song out of the sounds of other styles and smashing them all together, not in a way of, trying to create a new genre, but based off of the lyrics I picked up, just really appreciating all of music and trying to put a lot of styles into one song to show appreciation for so many styles. Yeah, it's a novel idea, very progressive, quite experimental, and I think they nailed the experiment. Works really well. And here's the thing too, is that it's also growth. The song is kind of singular in focus. A lot of the sounds that kicked the song off were consistent throughout the entirety of the track. We just build more off of it. And we build off of it in different ways. We did have one kind of distinct section in the middle of the track, which is where we had the female vocals come in, Falco quit singing, and we brought in some Afro-Cuban rhythmic devices in there. I think there's a harmonic change in there as well, but I couldn't place it. Anyways, this section retained a lot of the foundation, but built off of it in a different way than the rest of the track. But aside from this moment, everything is very unified in its approach. It isn't really even about adding layers and then removing them to replace them. It's just a consistent building up of ideas. The strings that we had at the beginning of the track off on the side, they played throughout. And I think this is the really interesting part to me, is all of these different styles have their own flavors of music. We can define them even if we don't know the exact theoretical reasons of why these sounds are the way they are, why they sound the way, why we can recognize them. We can still recognize them. When you hear a hip hop beat, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely from hip hop. When you hear a metal riff, you're like, yeah, that's a metal song. It's something that, again, you might not be able to verbalize it, but you can feel it. You can notice it. Most of this is going to come down to three things. Well, I guess technically two things. It's harmony, the chords being used, and melody gets wrapped up in there because melody is also harmony. And rhythm. Different styles of music have different rhythmic devices that show up more prevalently than other genres or styles of music. Rhythm doesn't really play too much of a role in this. We do hear rhythmic devices within each of these ideas. For instance, the strings off to the side have this bum, 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 bum. There's a little bit of dynamics in play there as we have that expansion on that third one. We kind of have the bum, 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 the rounding off into the expansion. That's a very classical thing, high dynamic work. You just don't hear too often in the more mainstream sounds that are appearing in this track. But it's also that rhythmic device, da, 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 da. Usually, a lot of modern music is going to stick with a rhythmic device, such as the drums here, just being staccato eighth notes pretty much the entire way through here on that hi-hat. Ta, 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 ta. It's a consistency, a lacking of dynamics. So that rhythmic element does play into that. When we enter into the more syncopated ideas in that middle bridge section, yeah, syncopation. That's gonna direct us into specific directions as well. It's one of the things that informed me as it being more Afro-Cuban, particularly with the exact rhythm they're using. But the syncopation also was not really present anywhere else in this track. A lot of it was straightforward. So it's one of those things that you just, you hear that quality. What I'm getting at through this is that all of these styles are going to have distinct ideas that show up more prevalently that help define its sound. How does it all come together then? Particularly on the harmonic side, if you just play pop rock music, which I think is what was at the basis of this track at the beginning with the bass guitar, the vocals, and the drums. If you just play that music on strings, it's going to sound like strings playing pop rock music, not classical music. There's going to be differences in harmonic structure, different chords used, different chord progressions. How do we have a little bit of R&B in here, a little bit of rock, a little bit of pop, a little bit of classical? All of these ideas that are going to have their own harmonic flavors present simultaneously while still being themselves and not clashing too hard with everything else. This is what blows my mind about this. Because the more I think about it, if I tried to do this, it would not come off as effortless as this. It sounds really easy to do. Just go find some overused tropes in some genres and put them all in one song. But I think you'd very quickly find you're going to run into harmonic dissonance in that manner. You're going to run into ideas clashing, especially on the harmonic side of things, because they're all using different flavors of scales and keys. And it blows my mind that Falco can bring them all together and find somewhere where all of these styles on the Venn diagram fit in the middle, where that little overlap is, and say, well, that's where we're going to work. And it's going to be enough to make them work together, and they'll still have their own flair. And that just really surprises me. I've talked about this before with bands smashing two genres together and how difficult that can be, 3 genres even. You really have to find the crossover between them, especially on the harmonic side. And here we have 6, 7 influences all being themselves and not stepping on each other's toes. I don't get it. And as soon as I thought about that, the genius of this song really clicked for me. I would love to get some sheet music and figure out what exactly they're doing and how much they're bending the rules of these styles to help them fit together. I don't see any other way of doing that. Manipulating them enough to fit better while still not removing some essence of their core qualities. And knowing how much you can bend on all of these and what direction you need to bend them all together to make them form into this song requires either a lot of luck or a lot of thought out precision regarding the harmonic side of things. To me, it tells me whoever created this, I don't know if Falco is a composer or if he's just the vocalist of this. I don't know who writes the music for this, but whoever did write this, they've probably got a pretty strong grasp on theory, harmonic theory in particular, while also understanding all of these genres too. This is a feat. It really is. It comes across very palatable, easy to digest. It's a poppy tune all in all, but by no means should you walk away from this with anything less than awe of how this all came together. Just phenomenal. Speaking of things coming together, we got the strings over there. We got the electronic drum kit. We got some sort of vocals off to the side. We got Falco's vocals, very percussive and rhythmic as always. There's something infectious to the way that he sings parts, just very staccato all of the time, creating this rapid succession of syllables, all done with really short ideas, but fluctuating pitches and accents. And I think that's what makes it interesting. If it was just da 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 da, that wouldn't be interesting. But he's like da 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 da. wow. And that makes it fun. It makes it bouncy. I don't even think it makes it catchy, but you listen to it enough and you'll remember it. It isn't not catchy. It isn't obtuse. It's just, I don't think blanket something that would be like across the board, something that would be easily remembered. And yet there is a memorability to it. It's just infectious. Eventually we have another vocal coming in on the side that sings the Sound of Musik. And this is call and response to Falco. So that's kind of cool. We got another layer going on there. Once more instruments come in, I honestly find the production really starts to shine on this, the clarity of it all and the spaciousness of it. Because as we add the trumpets in the center, some of the auxiliary percussion off to the sides, probably a bunch of instruments I didn't pick up on because this is such a dense track, it's all still clear. It doesn't get muddy, it doesn't get jumbled, it doesn't become a wall of sound. It is all clearly audible. Anything you want to hear, you can pinpoint. Some of the stuff is a bit quieter. You don't know it's there, you really have to search and dig for it. But once you hear it, once you know what to listen for, it's not hard to find at all. And I really appreciate that in this. Is there anything else I want to add to this? It's a fun track. I love the bridge. I thought that was a nice chance to dive into some rhythms they might not have been able to incorporate otherwise. And I do think that this would have added also harmonic clashing. So some of the ideas that might not have fit in the original Venn diagram can make up a new Venn diagram here. And that might be one reason that they explored this section, was to combine some ideas together that didn't necessarily fit in the first section. But it also creates nice contrast. I enjoyed that. Beautiful harmonies on the vocals here too. Just a cool section. The energy also comes down a little bit. There's a little less overhead going on as far as layers. I don't think the volume drops, but the energy does just a hair bit. We ramped it back up for the ending, but this song is a lot of the same thing. I feel like the last 2 minutes of this 5-minute song was just one thing over and over and over and over and over. And it's neat. I feel like there's little cameo sounds coming in all over the place too, which helps spice it up. But otherwise, it's a song with a single focus, which is just music appreciation. They created a foundation and crammed as much music as they could into that. And it's fun, it's bouncy, it's lighthearted. I can get behind that. I enjoyed this. And that's 2 for 2 for Falco. I never even thought to listen to this artist anytime in my life, despite having heard Rock Me Amadeus way early in my life. And now I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't dive into his work, because that's 100% of hits that I've heard so far. Let's check out some lyrics to this. Yep, it's a song about music appreciation. I'm not too sure about the first stanza. It says it starts in a forest, all the rights have been secured, yet it ends at home. My hands are cold, for a lot of time has passed, my soul is pure, the rose knows the scent, my voice needs the air, for the wind is hotter than ever before. Be it rock, punk, heavy metal, politics, or classical, it's all music to me. From here, we have a bunch of allusions, references, and puns based around music, musicians, composers, styles of music, songs sung, all sorts of things. This opening stanza is quite interesting. This track is also a mix of German and... Is it German? I don't know. I think it is German though. Yes, German and English. And the first stanza is in German, while the rest of the song is mostly in English. It says, those were the days, though, when the hard rock was hard rock. Music was tough as nails. It says, our boys, they weren't lazy. They got out and made them crazy, but no one left to tell the jail. The jack asks the king, hey, baby, do you want to dance? They're making history and they're on fire like never before. The first pre-elected rock and roll band. Not really sure what all this is about, but it's certainly starting to set the scene. From here, though, we enter into a stanza that's going to pop up quite often. It says, bang boogie, says up jump the boogie, do the rhythm on the boogie, the beat. I recognize some of this from some song, but I can't think of what it is. There's also do the hip, do the hop, do the bebop. So we have hip hop, we have bebop, but also do the hip, do the hop is also a line that I think I've heard in a popular song too. It says we're speaking the same language, and that language is music. From here, we have the call and response, where we have the one singing the Sound of Musik, and then we have Falco in the center progressing the story, if you can call it that. It says, can you hear the band playing? Feel the body swaying, feel the grooves. You got to start to move to the rhythm, move your feet to the beat, and do the universal dance. Here's where we start entering into some of the allusions in this track. It says, hear the James Brown song, hear the church choir sing. Says it's the jailhouse rock, stepping on my blue suede shoes. These are both Elvis Presley song references. Says it's Pavarotti, it's the biggest Bob Dylan fan. They're making music for the boys, the girls, and the big tall man. It's Otis Redding. He's sitting on the dock of the bay. Listen to the band, to the big band. Then we just have listen to the band over and over and over. He brings up later on Lennon and McCartney, Cole Porter, talking about people dancing, that everybody just wants more music. They want to keep dancing. They want more good time. It says, hear the universal choir pray. And then we bring back up James Brown and Otis Redding and giving everyone what they want to hear. So do the bang bang boogie. Oh, that's another one, isn't it? I've heard that in a track too. This is just a massive love letter to music. And I think that's pretty cool. Not a lot of substance to it. There's probably more Easter eggs, references in there that I might not have picked up on, that you might have. But it's still pretty cool in my eyes, even on the surface level, to reference all of these styles of music lyrically and musically, put it in the song itself. Very cool idea here. And again, I think they pull it off with finesse. It looks so easy, despite the fact that I don't think many people could do this and make it work the way that Falco did. These are just my thoughts, though, on the Sound of Musik by Falco. What did you think of this? Is there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you would like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this track? Let me know. Put all of that and anything else you'd like to add into the comments below. Above that, in the description box, is a link for Linktree. It takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. That wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.